It's Sway in the morning.
Only on Shade 45.
Hold up. This ain't no place to be if you plan on being a star. Hey, watch out.
Let me tell you, it's
Always cool. Hold up. But the boss don't mind sometime if you act a fool. At the car wash, Joe Schumacher. Come on, sing it with me. Come on. Working at the
car wash, yeah.
Come on now, let's sing it now, Joe. Come on, get me back me up, Joe. Ooh. Car washer. Work and work. Cars don't seem to stop coming.
Work.
Keep those something's coming.
Work.
Now, fingers to the bone. Come on, there you go. I cannot hit this note. Let's let it go. Hey, get your all right, yo, Joe Schumacher.
Great job.
He wrote Car Wash. That's interesting, man. You know, and you wrote The Wiz. I'm gonna talk about Trespass, I promise. We definitely got to talk about that. But just real quick, you worked with Michael Jackson. It was his first real acting job, really, in The Wiz.
Yeah, I think he was 17. And of course, a genius already, and the sweetest, most polite, most respectful person, and of course, just raging talent. And it was hard to ever imagine that child would really have done so much to himself, because he was so beautiful, exactly the way he was, as I think most fans realize. So, and he called me a few times to do a music video, but I wasn't available. And he wanted to play the Riddler in Batman Forever.
Wow.
And I had already talked to Jim Carrey about it, and I told him that, and he said, well, if anything fell through, think of me. So we stayed in touch up until Scream. Is Scream the one he did with Janet?
Yeah, Scream. Yeah,
Scream. He wanted me to do that video, and I couldn't do it. So I don't know if we talked after Scream very much, but he always wanted to make more movies.
Yeah.
And I treasure that time. The great Lena Horne and Quincy Jones were involved in that. And, the whole cast was fantastic.
Richard Pryor.
The
legendary Richard Pryor.
He played the Wiz.
Was he funny off camera as he was on camera?
Almost every, I'm talking about not the comfortable stand-up guys, but I mean the brilliant comics. Pretty dark.
Oh.
Pretty dark. But Richard was great. I mean, he was very funny as Daddy Rich in Car Wash. I mean, and with the Pointer Sisters, he loved that character, and he was on it even when the cameras weren't rolling. And it was great. And it was sad to see Richard go through what he went through. But
well, it's great to hear these stories for all of us who are fans of Michael and Richard and all of your work. So you have a new movie now called Trespass with Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman amongst a couple of the stars in the movie, and they're taken hostage by extortionists, right? And then what happens?
It's the primal fear, that people break into your home. And the interesting thing about this script for me was, well, first of all, it was 7 great acting roles, because it's a real pressure cooker of these people jammed together. But that there's so many psychological twists and turns. Hopefully we're peeling that onion for you constantly and telling you new stories, and within those stories, and there's a reason those people are there that night, and there's a lot of secrets and lies in both sides, the good guys and the bad guys. And in my movies, the good guys aren't all good and the bad guys aren't all bad. There's always some gray areas here. So hopefully we made a movie where people are on the edge of their seat, and we can keep the thrills and spills coming.
Well, you got the right cast for it. You certainly have that. And I know it was rumblings. I don't know if this was true or not, that Nicholas wanted to switch roles. Is that true?
He couldn't decide because the father was such a great role, but then the head bad guy was such a great role, and he one day he wanted to play the father. One day he wanted to. I really wanted him to play the father, who's the hero, and he eventually came to agree with me. You know how? He actually thinks it's his idea now. So that's fine.
That's smart. That's genius.
Fine. Yes, that's fine.
You want him to think that, right?
Yes. Okay. If you're out there, Nick, I just lied. It was always your idea. And so Nick is great. And Nicole had worked with in Batman Forever. And then we have a lot of great newcomers that I always love to put in my movies. Wow. And we've seen it with a few audiences now, and it's great to see people go, yeah. And then there are a few surprises at the end. So I hope I've done my job.
I don't even think that's the question, whether or not you've done your job.